Jeff, you had an excellent forecast recently for Canopy Growth Company, also known as CGC. Please tell us about it.
Well, that was actually a very interesting stock because it's a cannabis stock to begin with, but it was also a very exciting price chart. We put in a peak, a very short-term top in CGC back, I believe it was in January, and then we experienced really a weeks-long decline down to about maybe, I think, about $40 a share. But what was so exciting about the move down that we saw, even though that's quite sizable for that type of that price of stock, the move down was clearly a corrective wave pattern, an Elliott Wave corrective wave pattern. And I'd been watching it for a number of weeks, primarily in preparation of a webinar series I recently completed for Elliott Wave International, specifically on cannabis-related stocks. And this was one that was definitely on my radar. And then I believe it was maybe in April, toward the end of April, April 15, maybe mid-month. It looked good. It looked like we had a pattern complete. So I wrote about it and basically was looking for a sizable move to the upside back to beyond the origin of the pattern, which was a little bit above $52 a share. And that's exactly what has occurred. So yes, it was a very fun issue to work with, not only from an analytical point of view, but also from a trading point of view as well.
So it is a cannabis company, and I'm wondering, did that change your approach to your Elliott Wave analysis at all, or was it the same as it would be with any other stock?
Oh, it was the same as it would be with any other stock. And that's one of the things that I love, not only about the Elliott Wave principle, but also technical analysis in general. With that skill set of technical analysis, you can look at any market, any time frame, and basically find these patterns, these Elliott Wave patterns, or these momentum patterns. And it's, again, quite useful. I highly recommend anyone, any of the viewers, if you're not familiar with technical analysis, you truly should be, because it's quite the time saver.
And of course, we know that there's always been a black market for cannabis, but do you think CGC helps to show that now we really do have a new sector of the economy to follow?
Well, I didn't know that. I'm playing with you. Actually, I believe the cannabis industry, it's here to stay, and it's actually been here for quite a while, a number of years. Primarily the stocks, cannabis-related stocks, have traded over the counter. Some have traded on the Toronto Exchange. I believe one actually was released as an IPO last year. Tilray was a very popular one. But cannabis-related stocks, either for recreational use or medical use, they have been around for quite for a number of years. Again, primarily on the OTC, or what they call over-the-counter, or pink sheets.
Well, Jeff, we're ready to wrap things up. Was there anything else that we missed? Anything you'd like to add?
Not particularly, although I would say if any of the viewers are interested in cannabis stocks, again, I don't think they're going to go away. I think more and more states are going to move toward legalizing marijuana in some form or fashion, whether it's recreational or medical use. Again, the industry is here to stay, but I think a lot of parallels can actually be drawn from the cannabis sector or industry right now with the .com, say in the 90s. A lot of what we saw initially in the early 90s as far as .coms, those companies were not in existence when you, say, got into the late 90s. And I think that's going to be the same case with many cannabis-related stocks. A lot of what is currently traded right now, in another 5 or 10 years, they're not going to be in existence. Even so, I think there's going to be some key players that are probably trading right now that will be, say, diamonds in another, say, 5 or 10 years. So if any of the viewers are interested in cannabis-related stocks or issues, as I mentioned previously, I just wrapped up a 5-part series, video series, on some of my, say, favorite cannabis-related stocks. I believe I covered about 15 or 20 issues in that webinar series.
Well, that's such an interesting parallel, and I'm sure it's something many people can relate to. Thank you so much, Jeff.
My pleasure, Dana. Anytime.